Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The government of St. Lucia has come under much criticism for its level of borrowing. Government has sought loans from the CDB, Taiwan, and other sources. This has been done to the alarm of some, but to the applause of civil engineer and social and political commentator John Peters. Peters says there is no denying that the coffers of government have been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and has necessitated action to stave off economic collapse.
If I were head of a government at this time, I would borrow every single cent that is available at a low interest rate. So the decision of the government to borrow from the World Bank at those concessionary rates is a good decision. The decision to borrow from Taiwan at low interest rates, good decision. To borrow from the CDB at low interest rate, good decision. Because what we need now is some sort of fiscal space to restart our economies. And you would need some of these loans which have, these 5-year grace periods. You pay interest only for a period of time, and you're pushing down your repayment 5, 7, 10 years down the road. Those are the sort of loans that we have to be aggressive in pursuit.
Peters wonders if the contribution of the tourism sector has not been overestimated, given its complete shutdown and yet the buoyancy of the local economy.
When the local economy was reopened, and you had still a limited capacity in your tourism sector, the coffers of the government went up to, I think they said 85% of the levels that they were before. And it said something significant. It said that the contribution of tourism to the coffers of the government are less than what we have been told. And that the activity in the local market, in the local economy, is a more significant contributor to the revenue of the government than the tourism sector. And it created an interesting scenario for our economists, and I hope they do the research, to begin to research what really happened in the economy during the COVID.
That was civil engineer and social and political commentator John Peters. The island's National Security Minister Herman Gil Francis is being put in the spotlight by one of his predecessors from the United Workers' Party after he stated that he relies on the efforts of a well-functioning police force to tackle serious crime on the island. Dr. Keith Mondesi says Francis's words prove that he is ill-equipped to take on the title of National Security Minister. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Senator Herman Gil Francis is being taken to task by the former United Workers' Party Health Minister Dr. Keith Mondesi with regards to statements that he made on Thursday morning outside the House of Assembly. In response to the questions surrounding the recent crimes in St. Lucia, including 2 homicides and 1 armed robbery, Francis said it is easy to point fingers at the people at the top, namely the government, including himself as the National Security Minister. However, he said there is only so much that he is able to do. On Friday, Mondesi said it was a clear admission that Francis is not the right man for the job.
I'm flabbergasted and I'm shocked at the response of the Minister of National Security. A gentleman was shot, a young boy was shot, I think last week, he's given 5 bullets. He is saying on radio that people are asking what can he do. He's asking the question himself, what can he do? He said only when he gets information, he can pass it on to the commissioner. When you are the minister, you are the policy maker. You should be the strategist with the police. You set the guidelines. So you have taken up a job, in my opinion, that you know and you're honest. One thing I gave him credit for, he's honest to say he can't do the job. So why are you taking taxpayers' money, poor people's money, for a salary when you know you cannot do the job and you know you're dependent on somebody else? You should not take the job. Be honest. We have too many square pegs in round holes in this government.
Dr. Mondesi went on to point the finger of blame at an individual higher up for hiring the wrong set of people to be a part of his cabinet.
We have the Minister of National Security, a disgrace to the people of St. Lucia in terms of security and policing. We have the Minister of Health, another disgrace. We have the Minister of Agriculture, another disgrace. Look at the agriculture sector. What has this Prime Minister done? Can he make a proper judgment? He has made wrong judgments throughout his career, the last 4 years. We need something done about it.
Francis on Thursday explained that there is a need for a disconnection between the police force and the National Security Minister to allow the RSLPF breathing space to do their job without having someone breathing down their necks. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Ahead of International Women's Day on the 8th of March, a counselor at the St. Lucia Crisis Center is speaking out about gender-based violence. She says in recent times there have been too many disturbing instances of violence against women, some even being recorded and posted to social media. Genevieve Gonzague has more in this report.
A number of videos of women being beaten, bullied, or ridiculed have been posted to social media over the past few weeks. Counselor at the St. Lucia Crisis Center, Faith St. Catherine, says the viral videos of men perpetuating violence against women are disturbing. St. Catherine says proper conflict resolution strategies are a needed skill set for the vast majority of the populace.
We have to learn alternative, peaceful methods of dealing with problems when we are angry and when somebody hurts us. This is not the way to go.
She says what is even more disturbing is the fact that others find pleasure in recording such incidents when they occur rather than diffusing the situation.
Violence is not the answer. It doesn't solve anything. First of all, I saw the video. It's very disturbing. It's very disturbing that people take pictures and people... What is even more disturbing, okay, I can understand the pictures, but what is even more disturbing is that people stand by and encourage people to beat up and hit, to abuse other persons. What we need to understand is that the person who is being hurt may not be related to you, you may not like the person, but what we are doing is encouraging a culture of violence.
St. Catherine says she understands the pressures that may have arisen due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but resorting to violence only compounds the situation and creates even more problems within the society. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
About 2 months ago, the body of an unidentified female was found at the Pigeon Island Causeway. Women's rights activist Catherine Seelys is calling for an update from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on the matter. She says too often the public shows concern in the heat of the moment and then quickly lose steam when it comes to continuing the advocacy for justice. She says for this International Women's Day, women need to demand accountability from the powers that be.
On January 23rd, the body of a young woman was found on the Pigeon Island Causeway, while samples have been taken from one local family to assist the Royal St. Lucia Police Force in identifying the body of the victim. To date, there has been no update or confirmation from the RSLPF on the identity of the woman. Women's rights advocate and president of Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, Catherine Seelys, says St. Lucians need to continue agitating for answers, not just in the heat of the moment, but until answers are given.
This mother and the reactions of St. Lucians are no different from all the other times. We're very, very excited for 2 days and then we move on to something else. However, the emotional reaction of St. Lucians should not be a problem for the people who are investigating, for the powers that be that's supposed to provide the infrastructure, the resources, and the environment that is necessary to investigate the brutal murder of a young woman.
She has called on the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to engage the public and let them know whether or not any developments have been made, rather than there being eerie silence on the case.
But I think it is an indictment on the police force, the Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister, who is supposed to be our Chief of Security, that they have not been able to come out and say, we have sent out the forensic information, we have not received the response, so we want to update the nation. They treat people as if they're not important. Some time ago, an indigent woman was found dead somewhere in Cicero. They killed her and they basically threw her away. To date, we have not heard from the police as to how that woman died, why she died, or if there is an investigation to find out who killed her.
She says ahead of International Women's Day, women all over need to stand up for themselves and demand accountability from those in charge. She says the Gender Relations Unit needs to step up the game.
We want to find out what the Minister of Gender Relations doing about the Domestic Violence Act. They sent to the Attorney General office almost a year ago. Is there going to be a resolution on it? Because I see they're sending out all kinds of graphics and it does not include the Domestic Violence Act. International Women's Day, everybody will come out and say women have a lot of jobs. Yes, women have a lot of jobs, but women have no voice and no power. Because after all those years, we still don't have no laws regarding gender equality in St. Lucia. So tell the women that always on even long speech on international, they take up as they have not done their job.
Celeste has asked that the populace continue to demand accountability and responses from the individuals in charge. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.